All right, let me start this one properly. If you ever prepare for an interview using YouTube, there is a high chance you accidentally made your answer worse. Yeah, worse. And I know this sounds unfair because the videos feel helpful, they make you feel ready, confident, structured. I felt the same. But after going through something like 20 interview rounds for one role and using those model answers almost every single time, I start noticing a pattern. The more polished my answers sounded, the less impact they had. And that's when I realized something that changed how I prepare forever. You probably seen Richard's video, right? Interview questions, clean answers, strong delivery. What's your biggest strength? Tell me about a time you handled conflict between coworkers. Describe a situation when you manage change, and when you watch them, you think, okay, this is a solid. I can use this. But there is a problem. If you use those answers the way most people do, you immediately sound like everyone else. Not bad, just generic. And interviews are not about being correct. They are about being aligned. I didn't understand that at first. I walk into interviews saying things like, I am a strong communicator. I am highly organized. I am very detail oriented. Technically correct, but after one interview, the feedback hit me. Your answer were too generic. They weren't aligned with what we're specifically looking for. That word, aligned, stuck with me. Because they weren't saying I was wrong. They were saying I didn't sound like I understood them. And that's the big difference. Now, let me be clear. Richard isn't wrong. He's actually very good at explaining a structure. But think about it. He doesn't have your job description. He doesn't know the company culture. He doesn't know what that hiring manager is stressed about. So what he realistically give you is a framework, is a skeleton, but not a tailored answer. And most people memorize the skeleton and forget to build their own body around it. Let's make it simple. If you're applying for an admin role and you say, I am organized and I am a great communicator, okay, but if that job involves handling high volume of calls, difficult clients, and logging compliance record, what they actually care about is, can you stay calm on the stressful calls? Do you have document things properly? Do you prevent mistakes? So instead of saying, I am organized, you say, I log every call and interaction carefully so nothing is slipped through and I can report it to the line manager. I also stay calm with frustrated clients and I show empathy and make sure they feel heard before I move to the solution. Same skill, completely different effect. One sounds like YouTube, the other sounds like experience. And this becomes even more obvious in technical role. Let's say you are interviewing for a project manager role. If they ask you, tell me about the time you handled a change, you're going to say, I communicated with the stakeholders and ensured successful delivery. That sounds fine, but it's empty. Now imagine the role is in energy or gas sector. They care about operation resilience, risk, compliance, deadline. So instead you're going to say, we had a scope change mid-project. I mapped the operation impact with technical team. Prioritize based on risk to core deliverables. Tested updates in the small rollout. Gather feedback, refine it, and then roll it out in the phases. We still meet the deadline. Now, you don't just sound the structure, you sound aware. And the awareness is what gets you hired. Here is the shift that changed everything for me. Stop asking, what's the best answer for this question? And start asking, what are they worried about when they ask me this question? When they ask you about a change, they're worried about disruption. When they ask you about strengths, they are worried about hiring someone who won't cope. When they ask about why should we hire you, they are worried about making a mistake. If your answer reduces their fear, you stand out. If your answer just sounds polished, you blend in. And the blending is dangerous. And about the STAR, everyone treats STAR like it's some holy formula. Situation, task, action, results. Honestly, They are not sitting there scoring your acronyms. They are just one clarity. What happened? What did you do? What changed because of you? If you answer clearly and it fits their word, that's good. If it's structured but generic, you are forgettable. And I learned that the hard way. So, should you stop watching those videos? No, watch them. Learn the structure, understand how to build an answer, but don't copy. Take the framework, then rebuild it around the job description, around the company, around their problems. That's the part nobody talks about. And once I started doing that, I actually tailoring every answer. Interviews stop feeling like rehearsal performance for me. They feel like conversation. The follow-up questions got deeper, the energy changed. And when you know, you move from prepared candidate to someone they can genuinely see hiring. In the next video, I'm going to break down something even more important. Why most people misunderstand STAR method completely and what I use instead to make the answer sound natural and scripted. Because a structured helps, but alignment gets you higher. And once you see the difference, you cannot see it. If you want, you can watch that video in the next one. See you.